Hello, welcome back to Otter Pop Culture. Today, we're going over the fourth album by Halsey and their album called If I Can't Have Love, I Want Power. So, this album kind of came out of nowhere for me. I'm sure all the Halsey fans were like, I can't wait till it comes out. And I know I've heard talk about I'm Not a Woman, I'm a God. So I knew that I didn't really know that there was an album coming out. I knew there was a single. I thought there was a single coming out, but I guess I was way behind. And with me, I'm like I feel like I'm a casual Halsey fan because I did like Badlands. I did like Hopeless or I like pieces of Hopeless Fountain, but I loved Manic. So I knew that in this stage, especially after Manic, like this is the biggest reason why I'm doing this, because after Manic, I was like, oh, this is pretty good. I think I'm actually excited to see what comes next. So here it is, the album that comes next, and not only is this a fourth album by Halsey, but it also is assisted with Nine Inch Nails. 9 Inch Nails. Like Atticus Ross and Trent Reznor, they are part of this. They are helping with the production, and it sounds like it. It sounds exactly like it, and it works so well. I'm so happy with that. So let me go through my ideas of what's going. Actually, first of all, let me break down what the topic of the album is. So the topic of the album is a mixture of things. So there's some there's some female empowerment, there's some independent songs, there's some and other songs talk about motherhood and what it's like to be pregnant and all Halsey's history with being pregnant and so like that. And it's very interesting. I'm actually very interested in what they say, because it feels like it's a topic that a lot of people I haven't really actually it's a topic that I don't really come across with a lot of other spaces, honestly. And I feel like they do it so honestly and touches on things that I definitely don't hear about the other sides about pregnancy, about being pregnant and what's the fear and what could happen. And me being a very like anxious, like, oh my god, this could kill me kind of thing. I am so on board because I was like, oh my god, I totally think of this doesn't really cross my mind, but now it definitely does. Or oh my god, I was thinking about that, but now it's confirmed. Oh wow. So like the idea that you can still die from a pregnancy, it still boggles my mind. I was like, we have technology that just does so many crazy shit, but yet we still being pregnant or giving birth is still a risk. And I feel like it's so interesting to know, and it's interesting to kind of confirm that too. Because in my head I was like, yeah, I wonder if women still die from pregnancy, not because of like their own individual issue, but if just based off of the pregnancy itself. So confirmed it does still happen, and it's kind of crazy. Congratulations to Halsey and their partner with giving birth in July 14th to Ender Ridley. I love that name, first of all, and Ridley is a Cancer, so be into that. The emotions are gonna fly, the emotions gonna be genuine, and it's gonna be great. So get ready for that. Anyway, so let me go into this album and talk about the songs I like. Shout out to some songs as well. So shout out. We're gonna start with a shout out. So starting off with The Tradition is the first song that starts off, and it talks about the idea of fame, pretty much, and the idea that this girl is being sold and bought to fame, pretty much, and and this girl feels very kind of just being pulled and here and there, but the chorus tells the girl to kind of keep going. Don't ask for permission, ask for forgiveness. Like, do what you gotta do to keep going and take what you want, take what you can, kind of thing. And I feel like the way that Halsey says this in a way is because it kind of makes me feel like the words that come in my head when I see that is like do you, because no one else is going to do it for you. No one else is going to hold your hand and do that for you. You are your own savior, pretty much. So you don't have time for leaning in what people want from you. You don't have time to kind of like see you're accepted or validated from other people. Like, just do you, kind of thing. That's what it feels like to me. Bells in Santa Fe is a very dark one, and it has a scary kind of production to it too. This one talks about the idea that the child won't survive the pregnancy, and this is something that Halsey is very, very, very familiar with, and they've been very open about it. Actually, talking about like a couple of miscarriages that they had before in the past, and how that has really affected how they see pregnancy and how they want a child so bad, more than being a pop star. And now this is their chance to have that, and they're so happy, but it still runs through their mind of that kind of like when something traumatic happens and you're going through the same road that could happen to that to where the trauma could happen again, it kind of runs through your mind. I feel like that's what happened in this song. It's just like it's the storyline of a child not going to survive, but that's the thing that more of the ideas like that runs through their mind when it comes to this. Easier than Lying is the next song, and this one's actually the first one I started because I really, really like it. It's a full-on rock production. This one is talking about an abusive partner or a toxic partner, I should say. They're both the same. Pretty much, it's the idea of saying that Halsey had to keep their eyes just one eye closed, one eye open kind of thing, with the idea of it's so toxic around in the relationship that they don't really know what's going on. They don't know where it's going to go from left to right to anywhere. It's so unsure and unstable ground, it feels like. Because she says, I sleep with one eye open and one eye closed because I'll hang myself if you give me rope. This one kind of makes me feel like Halsey's talking about the idea of I keep myself on guard the whole time because I never know, because I'm so like, this thing is so confusing and so crazy about how toxic this is that I will literally end up fucking it up myself, or hurting my own self in an attempt to work on this, to make it better, to make it easier. And I feel like that's exactly what that is. And I feel like, and then she goes in to say, losing you easier than lying to myself that you love me. So she already knows that this person does not love Halsey at all. They know that. So it's that kind of a thing where just like, this is not going well. I have to keep myself up, my guard up at all times to make sure I don't fuck myself over. And now I know that it's just easier just to leave than to stay in this toxic situation. Lilith is the next one, which I love the title of the song. So this one is a mixture between things. So I feel like first of all, I love the low-key kind of hip-hop, gritty kind of like production that it comes into. I love it. It's one of my favorite sounds. And the production's really nice. I love it. This one talks about a mixture between what the world sees women and how they portray them and how they expect them to be certain ways and do a certain thing. And then also mixed between self-destructive behavior, I guess. There's a part where they say, cause you'd let anyone with a body control you. I don't really know if that's the partner that she's talking about, like this person that just like eager to just let anything happen just to feel that validation, to feel them get close to you kind of thing, that they'll hurt themselves or sabotage themselves or do stuff like that to just feel connected to some other person. One part that Halsey kind of leaves you away with is the more you give away, the more they'll more you have, the more they'll take. It kind of, it says it, they say it kind of back and forth between each other. So to the point where it kind of makes you feel like it's like, which one comes first? Do they take what they can get from you, or are you getting what, sorry, I'm confusing myself completely. Like, are they taking what you give away, or are you giving away means that you have more for yourself? Like, it's so confusing of where it stands. And I feel like Lilith is a great title for this because due to the fact that I like supernatural and due to the fact I know a little bit about the Bible, I know it's kind of it makes me feel like it's the storyline that I love that the media kind of movies and shows have done lately, which is give Lilith a story. give it her side of the story, kind of how she feels about it. If you don't know, Lilith is the first demon, and she kind of had a relationship with Lucifer, and it kind of spread out from there. And I feel like it's one thing that the stories kind of go around, especially in movies and shows, is that she kind of gets ditched inside and expected, it gets used and then thrown away, and you don't really hear much about her after a while, you know? So I feel like that's kind of connected to this, to the song in a way. Going to the next song that I also starred, Girl is a Gun. This one I really love. I love the industrial kind of production. And I feel like the song is about independence, and if you can handle her. And I feel like in that direction, it's like this girl has a gun, and it's just like, she's, I don't want to say wild, but she knows, but she goes after, this energy that she has is something that it takes a certain person to handle it. And not everybody can handle it. Not everybody can take in everything that she has, and being her full self. Not everybody can take it in. There is a couple pieces of where because she feels that way, she feels lighter when she's not attached to anybody. As she says, I feel lighter in the waistline with no hands around me, no spit in my teeth. I'm waiting for luck to come swallow me up, and I feel better when the boys stop calling. So interesting. It's just like, usually it's the opposite way. Everybody's like, why I don't get love? Why don't I find love? Blah, blah, blah. And this song is like, no, I am a force of nature, and I know that I also have a lot and I kind of wear my full-on self on my sleeve, and like out in person. Everything you see is what you get. So some people can't handle that. And with this, and it sucks, because then in the end of it, I kind of feel like I'd rather be more alone and just being me, who accepts myself, and instead of trying to work and try to explain and try to like show exactly who I am, when who I am is no complete mistake. So I love that. I don't know. It feels like independence to me. You Asked for This is the next song I really like. It talks about the way that girls are told to made to grow up fast and become more mature immediately before they really need to. And if you're not, then you're known as immature, and no man was gonna want you, and kind of thing. Complete bullshit. But this one talks about that, but I also feel like it's a mixture between her talking about the idea of being kind of more of a leading into being a mother, and leaning into being in that space where you're gonna be a little more what's the word? Domesticated? In a way, I don't know if that's the right word, but it's that kind of thing where you're kind of leaning into a space where you have to take care of a baby. You have to learn all these things about what it's like to be a mother, what it's like to have a child in your life, and all these things. And it sounds dull to a lot of people in their world, because it's like, once you have a baby, once you get married, once you get a house, you settle down, you're done. You're not going out partying, you're not doing this, you're too old, you're too mature for that, or you have too much responsibility for that, which I think is also bullshit. But I also think that it also is very subjective to individual people. This one right here, I feel like, is really nice. I love the production. The production's amazing. And I love when they say, go on and be a big girl. You asked for this, you better show them why you talk so loud. And I feel like in this direction, it's kind of a weird space between sarcasm but at the same time kind of tell her, you're like, no, own up to this direction. Take it all in, and be this. And if you're going to be loud, be unapologetically loud. Show them why you don't give a fuck about being loud, kind of thing. I love that. Going into 11:21 is another one I really, really like. This one talks about pretty much the date that Halsey found out that she was pregnant, and the idea of, God, I write so sloppy. And the risk of their life towards their baby too. The idea of I would do anything well, actually, let me tell you this. Actually, no, I can do this. Okay, I confused this one because there's another song kind of explains it a little more. But this one actually talks about pretty much just like Halsey not really wanting a miscarriage, not wanting this pregnancy to go wrong, and also doesn't really want to die in the pregnancy either. It's a lot of, this is the piece that I was talking about, the part when she, like, I wouldn't die, I won't die for love, but since I met you, you could have my heart, and I would break it for you. It's like kind of thing is just like, I would never die for love, I don't want to die for love, but I definitely would die for this baby. If I ended up giving birth to this baby and I die because I gave birth, it's worth it, you know, because it's to have his life come into play and have his life be emerged is way more important than her own life. And I feel like that's a great sign of complete motherhood right there. It's just like, and I wonder if people say like, oh, you don't really know, like, I never really knew how much I loved my baby until they were born, or until, you know, like, I've heard women say that before, and it does make me wonder. It's like, I wonder if that does like, how this like automatic kind of switch that you have, because like, I mean, every animal has that, and we are way more intelligent, but I feel like there's still a piece of us that we still have animal nature, a lot of animal nature, I feel like. Anyway, I really love this song. I love the vulnerability of just the fear of just like, I could have a miscarriage, or I could die in this pregnancy. I don't fucking know, but this is what worries me, you know, and I love that. Honey is the next song I really like. This one's about a wild girl. That's all that Halsey left up for us. But there's one thing I do know is that it was written as a demo for her younger brother to show how Halsey does music, how she makes it, how they write it and everything. So, which is kind of cool. It feels like a nice little simple, straight to the point song. It feels fun. It's still connected with this. Apparently this was dated, this is like made way back, but I love the fact it still fits in this album. This one talks about a wild girl that she's dating, and how she knows it's not gonna last, but they really love this person, and really into this person, and really love that they won't regret when this ends, knowing that it will end. Going into the next one called Whispers, I love that she's talking about this. This one talks about the idea of how mental illness can affect relationships, and literally starting off with sabotaging the things you love the most, camouflaging so you can feed the lie that you composed. I feel like that line is so powerful because it's completely just like, in mental illness, in a lot of mental places, in like anxiety, PTSD, bipolarism, like so many of those directions, or ADHD, like it puts a lot of spaces into where you feel like a lot of doubt inside yourself, and you don't really know if you're deserving of this relationship, or there's a lot of voices that go into your head that tells you the opposite of what's going on, questioning how you feel. Because there's a part where she whispers like, you don't want him, you don't need him, it's kind of thing. It's like that space was just like whispering that it feels like to me like you don't deserve having this, or you shouldn't have this, or sabotage this now because it's too perfect, it's going too well, or whatever. Like I feel like that's kind of what it's saying. And the song is about like her just kind of battling against it to the point where it's just like, maybe you have to trick her and treat her to a 70 capsules. And I feel like in that direction it was about suicide, and I think that's just how that's how strong these voices are in their head. To the point where it goes to the point where it says, think you can try to console me, but I do not know me. It feels like it's so, because of these voices and because of all this going on, it's not, their partner's like, oh, I can hold you, I can just, maybe if I kissed you more, maybe if I hold you more, and it's like, you can do this as much as you want, but that doesn't matter because I don't even know what I want out of this. I don't know how to fix this myself. Still in the process of figuring that out. So the fact that you're trying to come through with all these like remedies to make me feel better is not going to make me feel better. It's a whole thing about everybody can tell you you're beautiful, but if you don't believe you're beautiful, you'll never believe it kind of thing. And I feel like that's the more, you are the one that really gives you the final validation. Everybody can throw all the things to you, but you're the one that really matters in the end. So if you don't know yourself, how the hell did those kind of things could really mean anything to you? Going into another song, which is a Lighthouse. Love the Lighthouse. I did not like it at first because the sound of it was kind of weird and I was just like kind of feeling it out. But as it went on and on, I just grew more into it. This one talks about a siren who kills off a sailor, and pretty much I think it's about G-Eazy, and pretty much the idea of how much that this person has hurt them to the point that they don't feel very connected to, or that they feel like it took in some of that, but they are happy about, not happy, but they're thankful or in a way about it, because it says, well, I should teach a man to, or that should teach a man to mess with me. He never will sing again I'm still wandering the beach, and I'm glad I met the devil because he's shown me that I was weak, and a little piece of me is or a little piece of him is in a little piece of me. It feels like it's kind of like I've grown since then. I've grown bigger. I've grown to know what I don't want and what I can take, and what I need to work on to like move past these kind of things. Like, he showed me I was weak in this direction. Okay, that direction I need to make sure I focus on and make sure next time if that fucking happens, I know when it's happening, kind of thing. The production sounds so nice. It feels like a violent waves crashing back and forth kind of thing. If you listen to it, it feels like that. Trent comes in at the very end, starts singing a little bit. It's very happy to see him. And then finally, the last song is Ya Abrni. This one is Arabic for I love you, or I would give everything to you, my heart and soul. This one's a love letter to her partner and the newborn baby, Ender. This one talks about the idea of, I'll just read it to you. I think I could love you. We could love forever in each other's eyes, or in each other's faces. Cause I always see my youth in you. And if we don't live forever, maybe one day we'll trade places. Darling, you will bury me before I bury you. There's a weird space where it's just like, I saying to both people, she does not want to bury her kid or baby before she dies. It's definitely, I hear this a lot in mothers. It's just like, that's the worst thing that could happen to them. And also with the partner too, it's like, you don't want, it's also shitty when a partner dies before you do. And I think that to the point she's so worried about this, that she would die, she'd rather be buried first than see it happen the other way around. And I really feel like there's a really hard devotion to this. And I love that. This album is incredible. I'm very impressed with this album. I give it a 10 out of 10. Leave a comment below, tell me what you thought. If you have some notes to this album, let me know what you thought. What was your favorite songs? Let me know. If you like this video, hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell too. Thank you so much for watching. Sorry it's very long, but I had a lot to say. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.